Hi, everybody. How's everybody doing?
Hello.
Hi.
All good here?
Yes, we are back. We just got back from our 5-state road trip escape room tour: New Mexico, Arizona, Nevada, Utah, and Colorado. And we are exhausted. Woo. Yeah, it was a lot of fun, but definitely a lot of driving.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of escape rooms.
Almost 3,000 miles.
Yeah.
Almost.
Oh.
All right, without further ado, we're excited to share new content from our followers. And of course, we're excited to be back on Behind the Masterminds, episode 77. In this episode, we'll be speaking with some experts on creating puzzle hunt experiences. We've only done a couple ourselves, but since we do travel quite a bit, I think it's always fun to mix some puzzles and tourism together.
Yeah, for sure.
Right?
Yeah.
All right, before we get started, make sure to like and subscribe our YouTube channel. Hit that button below. And here we go. Our first guest comes from the Netherlands, and it's a team of creators from Wacky Wheels Mystery Games. We have Klaudia and Johan.
Hello.
We are missing one person. Edwin is not able to join us today.
Yes, he's
where
on
is he?
holidays, having good time. We shared the link with him in case he wants to watch us live. So let's see. But yeah, we have his feedback. He's our puzzle maker. So we will be able to share his perspective as well.
That's great. Okay, and these three creators, they combine their two passions, traveling and escape room games. This is how they created the Mystery Escape Road Trips, where for 3 days you travel around, solve puzzles, and look for clues that will lead you to new places until you can unravel the mysterious story. It's basically like an escape room, just outdoors and 3 days long.
That sounds really fun.
During the pandemic, since organizing road trips weren't possible, they created at-home escape games that can be played individually or as team events. Since the at-home games were all well received by the players, Wacky Wheels has now launched a mystery story puzzle subscription where a new printed escape game is sent to the subscribers every 3 months.
Yeah.
How interesting is that?
So just so you know, I was also watching some of your social media posts and stuff. I was like, oh my God, on these road trips, you also provide food. That's like the prize that you get at the end. I'm like, I'm there.
Yeah, right? It's a combination of...
Drinks. Oh my God.
That's like the perfect combination of it all. And next we have Ben from the Netherlands as well. Ben is the co-founder and creative director of Mystery City Games. They make historical treasure hunts all across Europe and online. After designing city games in Amsterdam, London, and Barcelona, the worldwide lockdown inspired Mystery City Games to move online with 3 popular games that they run for team buildings. Since the world has opened up, Ben has been busy preparing for the next expansion, Paris.
So hello, Ben.
Hello. Thanks for having me.
Which is just starting up with plenty of new cities to follow, I am sure. But we're going to get into all that, but give it up for our guests.
For sure. All right, so first we want you guys to tell us a little bit about the experience you're calling have and how does it work when a customer, let's say, book one of your games. Should we start with Wacky Wheels?
Yeah. I can tell a little bit about that. So our goal is that all our games can be played like self-guided. So the buying process is online, and from that moment on, the people can play the games we have themselves. And we have a hint system which allows people to actually, if they're stuck, to keep on going. The road trip is, of course, a little bit different because we are self-guided. So the people get all the exercises there, but we are also there on the road playing a role, actually. So yeah, the road trip is definitely a little bit special in that. And we help the teams in playing a role, and they get new answers and new questions from that moment on.
Yeah.
Wow.
And the road trip is on specific days and specific locations. So that's like a kind of event thing. Whereas as all the other games, you can play like independently whenever you want to play them.
Ooh.
So do you have like a app that you use, or how does that, like how do they follow clues?
It's custom built by Johan.
Nice.
Yeah. It's not a mobile app, but it is a website, but it almost behaves like an app. So you really have your own custom login, and everybody can submit their answers. You have your own scoreboard, and you directly see if your answer is correct or not. And if you're stuck, again, you can ask for hints, and then you get your personal hint to move on further. So it's all based on the website, but everybody who signs in gets their personal code to play the game.
Wow, I wish we had that over here during our road trip. It would have made the drive seem a lot faster.
Oh, yeah. Spot this buffalo. How many
That would
spots
have helped,
on the
yeah.
body?
Yeah, find the cheapest gas station and then.
That's gonna be hard.
Yeah. And then on top of that, I think during the road trip, we also have like a live scoreboard, so that because we add like a little bit of a competition element to the road trip. So apart from like playing your own game and finding the route and solving the puzzles and the mystery, you also see how well you are on points with like the other teams at the same time. So throughout the road trip, except for day 3 when that one is locked, and then you don't know until the day is final, and then we reveal who actually was the winner.
Oh, okay. I hope they don't get like speeding tickets. Can you imagine?
No, that's well, that's
just
not
speed up.
actually advised. We have we do really stress out that the whole road trip and solving the puzzles that doesn't involve like breaking any rules. So like
Right.
stick to the traffic rules. You
Like,
don't
officer,
need to stress
I'm doing a puzzle hunt here.
You have to go.
Just give me a warning.
Yeah, but so far no speeding tickets, which is good. And indeed, people need the time for puzzling, not so much for speeding. So the distances are quite okay. So the distances are really easy to do in a day. So you never speed, and you really need the time to puzzle, which you can do in the car, but also just stop in a restaurant and puzzle there together. So yeah, so far no tickets.
That's good.
That's great. Yeah.
And Ben, how does your game work?
So our games are just in one city, so there's no speeding required either.
Okay.
The players, they meet us
Speed
at our
walking.
yeah,
or on the
Some
bike
people-
in Amsterdam.
Yeah, in Amsterdam, when people are playing competitively, some of them choose to run, which is exhausting. Not recommended, but they seem to enjoy it.
Right.
The game starts at our secret headquarters, where they meet a game master, someone like myself, who explains the game, tells the story. In Amsterdam, we have 2 games, so it depends which one they choose. And then from here, this is our secret headquarters. They head out into the city with a game bag and everything they need inside it to solve the mystery. Puzzle pieces, locked boxes, books, classic red feather, pen, and mysterious objects.
Oh my goodness.
Wow.
Yeah, the
That
game
is a lock box.
yeah, instead of locked boxes, they're appealing. As opposed to 3 days, ours is just 2 hours long, and it comes in a nice circle, and when they come back, they get their prize.
Ooh, there's a prize.
So these games can be run simultaneously, right? It's not like booking by 2 hours and the next customer comes. They can play at the same time.
Exactly. Yes.
Oh.
Not only that, we can also accommodate like big groups at the same time. So sometimes we get team buildings who are like, we're 30, 40, 50, 60 people, and we make teams and they compete against each other. And those are the ones where they'll come back in at the end and they're panting. They want to solve the mystery. They have to take a breath first.
I think
those are fun.
what's funny to tell, Wacky Wheels, we actually participated in one of the 2 games, and we really liked it. So we have played the games because we were in Amsterdam as well, and
Ooh.
be a good at
I remember it well. And since then, I've always wanted to play one of your games. I haven't had the chance yet to go on one of your road
Yeah, we're
trips.
still waiting.
It's on the list.
To join.
He has to
the-
carve out 3 days to
That's true. Yeah.
make it work.
Do you remember how'd you do? Did you win?
Like I remember that we didn't get the prize. I'm not sure if that was already there or was our score not so good.
Must be pretty competitive.
Yeah.
We are. I think at Wacky Wheels, but it was a lot of fun. And then I think what's cool about the game is that you really get to also like explore Amsterdam with it. So like not only have fun like solving the puzzles, but you can also like just see the city around as well.
Yeah.
And cool places, and sometimes places that you might have missed, maybe.
I think the only time we did something like that was when we went to the Caribbean island, and remember
we did one
drove
in New York too from Books Club.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah,
yes,
that's what I was saying. We played.
But that's New York. We already know New York.
Not really. I didn't know about that secret tavern or whatever he was talking about. See, there's things that you learn along the side as well.
True. I think it's great because you get to tour while playing, so you get to see things and learn new things.
In New York, we just get distracted because then we tour and eat, and then we just for the whole street. We're like, okay, it's time to move on to the next street. But
Yeah,
then we eat again.
it's like, oh wait, put the game on pause. I've never ate here before.
Yeah.
Let's go
It's
inside.
like, ooh, bubble tea.
Maybe that's like a game idea for like a company from New York to combine it with like food stops or
Foodie.
like a puzzle with the menu or something.
Just why
that you
your
get a special
answer, man,
menu.
is all combined with pubs and beer.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, exactly.
And we
That
built
makes
custom games that included stops for snacks. And
Oh, okay.
There you go.
There you go. You definitely need to have that in
Yeah,
there.
I mean, we're gonna ask about that later. But so what is your creative process in creating a puzzle hunt around town? Like, how do you guys choose where you want to create this puzzle? Like the actual route that you're planning to have this on. You want to start with Ben first?
Okay. So my partner Emily and I, we're lovers of history, and so when we designing a game, we try to think of what stories we want to tell and what places are the most interesting. My background is I used to be a tour guide, so then in Amsterdam, the first game started from the idea of how do I tell these stories without getting rained on, and that was by making a game for other people to play. And so it's about finding interesting locations, like Klaudia mentioned, places that aren't necessarily too obvious, or if we're going somewhere obvious, show something surprising about that place. So in London, for example, Trafalgar Square is quite popular, but there's a lot of details there that people miss when they go by. So we try to make sure to put a magnifying glass to those fun things.
Right.
Ooh.
Yeah.
So part of it is at the same time, we have to spin the plates of choosing the right route and choosing the right story. We tend to find that it comes together quite nicely, and especially in certain European cities where the history is just all around you. Choosing the route in some cities, like I was in Paris recently, you really can't go the wrong way. You know, we had
Then, for example, with Paris, because I know that's your next destination or game that you're putting out, did you have to go there and do a lot of research and then come up with the stuff as you went, or like what was your process there?
So there I'm working with one of our designers, Veronica, and she's fantastic. And one of her many great skills is that she lives in Paris. So she had a bit of an advantage there.
Yeah.
She found these great stories. And that's the thing with the history. There's always lots of stories to choose from. So we did the research before. We decided on a story from many great options. And then, we try to find the right spots. Whenever possible, we try to find relevant spots to that story. But there's always ways to work in, we don't use the Eiffel Tower, but for example, the Eiffel Tower.
Right.
So it's not
Yeah.
in that neighborhood.
Is it all like fiction? Like, is it all real, or do you also add in like fictional?
All of our stories are based on real history.
All
For
real,
us, that's an
okay.
important part. With the tour guiding background, we want to tell real stories. We figure history has so many great stories. Once we've told them all, then we'll make some up.
Right.
That said, sometimes history needs a little narrative through line to help get from point to point. But we make sure to be clear in our stories what's real and what's narrative choices.
Right.
Got it.
And there's always an overall goal or mission.
Yeah, it's find this person, find the diamonds, find the one in Paris, the secret weapon. So you have a very clear goal at the beginning and a nice reward at the end.
Nice.
All right, yeah.
What about you guys? Does Klaudia want to say something?
Yeah, well, I have the Edwin's feedback about this one because
Okay.
he's the one like starting the game actually. Well, we start a little bit together by first choosing the place, the destination where we want to do it, which is kind of important because that also like limits the places you're gonna see. So once we decided on a destination, then he actually looks up a lot of like historical as well places around it that fits the theme of the game. So like if we have Dragon Trail, which is in the UK, then you look up a lot of places with myths and legends related to dragons around that. And then based on that, on those places and how cool they are and if they are like very known and what's the story behind it, they get incorporated into the whole story as well. And then, it sometimes happens that we find a very, very cool place, which is not so fitting in the story, but has a great history behind it, or it looks amazing. And then you sort of use that history of the place to try and make it fitting in your theme and in the overall experience of it. Because similar to Ben's games, our games are well, they are fictional because you solve like you find, I don't know, you look for dragons, whether they exist or not, but they are rooted in like historical or true stories as well. And you visit actual places with, and you discover the history about them as well.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So then when you guys, because I know, Brendan was asking that you have a final, like, mission that you have to complete. Is it usually a physical object that they find? Or
no, that with us, it's a little bit that every day you get like physical objects, and a lot of them, like you can get maps in the beginning, or some flyers or extra photos, and then usually that comes with like the letter from the secretive person who invited you to like join the mission. So for instance, with Dragon Trail, it's Professor Richard Owen who wants to prove his theory that dragons actually existed and they did roam the earth. So you're supposed to like investigate all the traces of dragons that are in the UK and discover different places around them. So you get most of the objects in the beginning, and then along the way, sometimes you do find something extra, like a dragon egg, for instance.
Look at that.
Yes.
I feel like she's already in a dragon's lair. Like
I know. Where are you? Are you in the dungeon?
I look like that with the background, indeed. A little bit.
Is that a green screen behind you, or is that real? Like, is that real?
That looks pretty real.
No, that's actually a chimney. So like I'm printing. It's not on fire now, but like below it's there. Yeah.
Very nice.
Yeah.
I mean, the reason why I ask is because I'm always wondering, like, if someone like, took it, not like, on purpose, but like forgotten, and it took the final thing that everybody's supposed to find, then what do you do? Like, then the rest of the group are gonna be like, oh no, I didn't get anything. That's kind of sad.
Right. Oh, we got something from Karen. She said she really enjoyed the history and Death in the Red Light, which we did also, the online game, and the Monuments mission.
Nice shout out. Yeah,
shout out to those games. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, going back to what I said, like, how do you guys deal with that? Like the final thing,
so I think so. And then over to you, Ben. But on our side, so we don't have like one final thing. It's more the story or the question they have to unravel. So it's a question, and every team can find that same answer to that same question. But during the road trip, we indeed also have some of the props, and then we have to make sure that each team get actually one prop. So we are always on the location ourselves as well, to make sure. So we are hidden. It's quite funny. So we're hidden so the teams don't see us. And then one team gets it, and then we make sure that the next team has their own prop as well. At other locations, we actually have a role play. So we actually are part of the story, and then the teams are meant to see us. And then that's also how we can hand over the next material.
Yeah,
nice.
And that makes easier managing the fact that everybody gets only one that they're supposed to take.
Yeah, that's true. What about Ben?
So we've thought of lots of ways to make sure people don't take the stuff, but really there's not a big crossover between people who like historical puzzle games and people who like to steal things. Fortunately, it's not really been an issue.
Yeah.
Only a few times by mistake. There was once back when we did have trackers in the game. Someone forgot the bag in the Uber that they took back to us. So I got to watch it driving around Amsterdam until it eventually made its way back to me.
Wow. The bag actually traveled all around.
Yeah.
Adventure. And I think in all our years of operation, we've only had one bag that is actually lost. So if you see one lying around, please send it to us.
Bring it back, yes. Nice.
Last seen in London.
Yeah. So going back to what I was saying before in terms of like the food and things that you encounter on your puzzle hunts, like, do you guys work with vendors all the time in terms of building something extra into your games?
Not really. We do offer a catering. So we have a barbecue night, for example, in the road trip. Yeah. You like that one? Yeah. And also at the end day, we have like a final party. So we definitely communicate with the location. We first try to find a really cool location which fits the theme. And then if we find that location, we're going to call the owner and say, hey, we're having a party in the end. And maybe we have I can't reveal too much of the ending scene, but we have a smoking generator. So we really try to make it a real cool ending scene of the whole road trip. So we do cooperate with them, but it's quite loosely. It's just they have their own business, and the people pay their own food to their business. But it's nice if we can find a good spot. So that's kind of a nice collaboration we have on the road trips.
Very nice.
Sounds like so much fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, barbecue. I had you, right?
You had me at barbecue, you did, and then my
could've stopped
attention there. I was
Disappeared.
no. Then he said party after that. I was like barbecue party and puzzling. What? This is like
Nothing to do. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
What about Ben?
So we have had custom games where people want food or drink during, but we find like 2 hours is not a long time. It sounds long, but once you're in it, you're wandering around, you're exploring, it flies by. And taking a break in the middle to eat or drink just kills the momentum. But what we do instead is, especially for the team building groups, we have a drink at the end where they can come back together. And so we work with a place nearby where they can go for their victory drink. And that works.
Nice.
that's always good. They
Also
can talk about the experience.
Sorry?
Oh no, I was saying that's always good because then they can talk amongst each other about the experience and what they
Exactly.
missed, what they saw, and whatnot.
Yeah, everyone will have a slightly different way that they went through it. So they'll be there like, how did you get this one? Yeah, we didn't try that. And we've also had some odd requests a couple times, 2 times now. Someone had said, well, my girlfriend really loves puzzle games. And so we want to play your game. And at the end, I want to propose to her. So
Oh wow,
what can we
really?
do? And then I contacted someone I know who he plays the bells in the towers in Amsterdam. And he let them go up the tower and propose with a view of the city, and he played the wedding march, and that was nice.
Wow.
That's not for
Wow.
everybody. That's
Love that.
Yeah.
Was the ring in the box then? With all
No,
the love?
I suggested like have that moment separate. Again, just like the drinks, have that be your own thing, and yeah. But it was at the top of a church tower, so 400
Oh,
euros.
that sounds beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was
That's awesome. So like also talking about like the research that you guys put into these games, and just the duration of how long it makes the games. How much like research are we talking about? Like, from the beginning of starting with an idea to finishing the game.
a lot of research, but we love it. It doesn't feel like work, so we're doing research even when we're not working on a game in particular. So right now I'm reading a book about Nellie Bly, this female journalist in the 19th century who decided 15 years after Jules Verne wrote Around the World in 80 Days, and she thought, I can do it in 75. And so she did it. Spoilers. And I think like this story will one day make a great game, so I'm reading the book now.
Cool.
But Emily and I, as I said, we're pub quiz lovers. The company started after a night of pub quiz that we didn't win. That's a sore subject.
That's usually how it started.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then if we won, we wouldn't have anything to talk about. We would have been distracted. But yeah, so we do a lot of research. We read as much as we can. But we found there's only so much history you can put into a game before it becomes a walking lecture. It's a explorative puzzle game. It's not a walking history lesson. So we try to find the right balance. But we find it interesting. So we're always going deeper and deeper than we need because we love it.
What about you guys? How long does it take usually
Well,
to create?
it's also not like for us, at least with the road trip, like not like a linear process that Edwin sits and then in a month, done, there you go. But I think it's also similar with how Ben described it, that Edwin is a big history, myths and legends fan as well. So he's like not starting from a blank sheet. So he has like a little bit of knowledge and a little bit of background already, or some thoughts about it. And I also know that he secretly, if he like finds a cool story or a cool place, like he saves it, because you never know when you might be able to like to use it. And then it's like a hand-in-hand process, like creating the road trip and then researching the historical part as well, because you find out more places as you go, and then you decide if they have nice history, if you want to like fit them in or not. So yeah, takes quite a while, but I would say I don't know, like a month or maybe a little bit more to like have the first draft of the road trip, because after we have that and we have the puzzles around it, then at least Johan and we all go there and actually test it and check out the places. So we play test it, and we want to actually see the places that everybody's supposed to discover and the flow of the game, and then we take it further on from there.
I feel very lucky that all my locations are within walking distance of.
You are very lucky, yes. It's quite a trip for us to like to actually go, and then we do our road trip ourselves. But I mean, we like it because that's why we created it, because we like traveling.
Yeah.
But then you're also in the like testing process, and then like if something is not there or not the way you're expecting it, then you need to on the day like think of alternatives, or like maybe we want to check out something else along the route as well as an alternative. So yeah,
I just had an idea. Let's go back to Luxembourg and check
out. Yeah, let's drive back 300 kilometers.
And the funny thing is then Edwin is sitting at the back of the car, and Klaudia and I are doing the test run as if we are a participating team. And then, of course, Edwin has to be silenced, but that is so difficult for him, because then we are doing something really stupid. And then Edwin does like this, and then we are not on the right track. That's very clear.
So in all fairness, he really tries hard not to like give us any impression, but like internally, he's sometimes like screaming because he's hearing all our conversations about solving the puzzles or the story as we go. Yeah, and then he's there like knowing exactly. But
That's
he can't give it away because indeed.
And one more funny story: when we were doing the test run for the Dragon Trail, then we were in England in those small little villages, and then we were talking with the people who live there, and they say, "What are you doing?" And then, well, we are trying to find out if dragons exist or not. But then they were so into it. It's, oh yeah, really? Because I know a story, and they like everybody in those small little villages, they have a story about dragons. So
really,
in England especially,
Once you're there and you talk to, especially the little bit older people, they know all the stories, and it's it's in their blood. It's so funny when you're there. Yeah,
it's a great place to get research. Emily, my partner, has this. She loves when she meets someone new. She asks, "What's your town's best story?
Right.
What's the secret from where you're from?" So she's collecting them like that. That's why one day when we go to, I don't know, St. John's, Newfoundland, it'll be easy because we know a bunch of stories from Emily's collections.
That's so
nice.
Yeah.
Have you guys just discovered on the road trips? I mean, since we just came back from one too, that's why I'm always like curious, like some weird like abandoned cabin or things, you know, like a cave. Like, would you go explore it? Would you just go in and be like,
yeah? How adventurous are you to? How much research would you get involved?
I think we do already quite a lot of that, and we're also, or like, we wouldn't mind if we would see there are like, well, maybe not cave-like things, but similar things along the road trip that you might discover. Abandoned places, well, it's not, if you would see it, it's not like an abandoned place around the road trip, but we make it as if it's abundant there. So like that. But I think we, all three of us, are in general, also with our personal trips, quite adventurous into discovering new spots.
Oh,
okay,
that's great.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'll go into abandoned cabin.
I don't think you
would. A little
would.
creepy for me. Yeah.
She would say, "Go in there and let me know."
No, but I think that the cabin we have in mind, that like you would say it's still cute. So I think you would be fine going in it.
Oh,
yeah.
A cute.
Yeah, it's not
cabin.
like you know, there's spiders hanging around and like things like that. It's just like that no one is there anymore, and it's a little bit like rusty or something, but it's not anything cozy. Scary. It's cozy.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right. So I also know that you guys have online games. Ben has some digital games, and you guys have the puzzle books. So do you guys want to tell a little bit to the audience about your other games, other than your, puzzle hunts?
Ben, you want to go? You gonna go first, or shall we take it?
So what happened was we made city games. Everything was going great. We were beginning our expansions. We were about to launch our second expansion city, which was London. We had the opening party planned for March 27th, 2020. And then we had to cancel that party, and we had to cancel everything. And we were sitting at home, and we thought, what do we do now? And I'd had this idea percolating for a story for a game. I said, okay, let's make a game you play on your computer. At that point, neither of us knew how to program anything. So the first version of it was an interactive PDF. So I used InDesign, which used just the technology of if they click here, go to page 27. If they click here, go to page 31. And it was fun. That was a Death in the Red Light, which would eventually win a Bullseye Award. And we were really
Yeah.
That let us put award-winning on our page, which was a big deal.
Yeah, the graphics are phenomenal. Who designed it? Who, like, graphically? Who designed
myself.
it?
Yeah, I did the graphic design.
Amazing. Yeah.
It was fun. But we like working with our limitations. So building an online game was an opportunity to make puzzles that don't work in a city hunt setting. And then later when we're working on other games, it's okay, what works really well at sitting at a table that doesn't work on a computer screen? What works well walking around? So this Death in the Red Light is a story. I mean, we used to just talk about it. I would make sketches of it. Just it's a noir detective story in Amsterdam in the 80s in the red light district. Like, it just drips with theme. And I was really happy to build it. I remember the process feeling really, really long, but we launched it in May of 2020. And that meant it was like 6 weeks or something, building something brand new. Unlike a city game where you have 5 locations you go to, for this we had to build like 20 locations in the game. And then later on, I learned a bit of programming so that we could make it more interactive and digital for our future games. And
so
it's
the
just
two that you have right now, other than the other two, are now more in advanced programming.
Yes. So there's a bit more, drag the thing and click the thing and logic puzzles.
I mean, even at the time, the PDF was ahead of its time because around that time, there wasn't that many games being offered.
Yeah.
Especially for at home, but even in that type of style.
Yeah, exactly.
I remember at the time we didn't know what to call it because we're like, it's not an online game because you download a PDF. So we're going to call it a play at home game. But now it's an online game.
It's so funny how similar our challenges were because indeed on our side, we started with the road trip and we had the Europe edition and then we created the UK edition. But then we did test run it, and while finishing the test run, we drove back through Netherlands. And I remember we say, okay, we have to close the windows because the COVID virus is all around us. So that was really the start of COVID entering Netherlands. And at that moment, we couldn't do our road trips. So then we were sitting together. Okay, how can we use what we think we are good at, but then in a way that people can play it at home? So very similar to what Ben is telling. And so that's when we also came up with an escape game you can actually play at home. So we have now, I think, 6 of those games for adults and 2 of them specifically for juniors. And those are games indeed like similar. There is also a storyline. There are also escape game like challenges you have to solve. You can also ask hints. But of course, the big difference is that you play it from home and you're not driving from one place to the other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you also have a subscription game that's coming up too.
We do, yes. And that's actually going to be not a PDF anymore. So it's going to be a printed book. I have a copy here. So this is the first game, The Mysterious Case of Dancing Mania, that we're going to launch.
I love the colors.
Type of design as your other book.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
Greenish, blue, gold.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, and then the story is here.
Wow.
So
who's the artist for this one?
Well, it's both Edwin and me that we do the designs with it. So because I can't see the puzzles in the beginning, then it's like Edwin making the first draft that we then first play tested. And then before we involve other outside play testers, then I go through the layout and then update it. So this is our first game, and it's a quarterly subscription. So every 3 months you get like a brand new game to solve. You never join on a backlog. Every time it's a new thing. And the mysterious case of Dancing Mania, it's actually also based on a true story when one girl in the 16th century started just dancing in the streets and she couldn't stop, and soon other joined as well, and there are over 400 people dancing in the streets unable to stop, and your task is to figure out what made them all dance.
Wow.
Doesn't that sound
Yeah.
like the
Sounds,
mob?
it sounds like Footloose.
No,
A little bit.
the current day mosh.
Oh, you talking about flash mobbing?
Yeah, doesn't that sound like that?
The flash mob, yeah.
Flash mobbing.
Yeah,
is-
very old flash
orchestrated.
mob. Yeah, maybe. I'm not saying anything. Maybe that was the birth of a flash
birth?
mob, but
Oh.
no.
Are the stories continuous? Like the next quarterly that comes out, is it related to the first one?
No, they're going to be like totally independent stories. So that's why, because you can join at any time and you can cancel anytime as well. So each book, each game is an independent story that then through puzzles you just unravel a mysterious story, and then you get to solve what really happened there. And yeah, we're shipping 1st of October. That's because we're shipping on a quarterly basis, so every time to everybody. And now until 10 September, we have a launch promotion. So you can actually sign up for €9 instead of the original 12.
Ooh, okay.
Well, how
Already
far in
there.
advance do you have like the games prepared? Like, do you already have the next game ready?
Yes, we do. We do. We just
Rounds, or else they're gonna be like going crazy.
Like,
yes,
like-
indeed. So
down
we
to the
have
wall.
that is true. So we do have the next one ready. It's already also been tested. We now have it proofread as well. So we just need to do some edits based on that. And then, of course, print test it and check if everything is all right. And then the next one, so like the third one, is in the making.
Yeah,
Wow.
that's usually how
Okay.
you're just gonna have a workload now. It's not like before. You're gonna
Yeah, but
like work
the idea actually came from Edwin of the puzzle maker. So we were like, okay, if he wants to do that, then we're all fine.
Nice.
He's not here to defend himself.
I
right
know.
now.
No, so we can say whatever, or we can say like, yeah, we're gonna do 20 new games, so, and then he has to commit as well.
He has no choice. Yeah.
Very nice. Well, anyways, I'm gonna give you guys a little test here because you're all puzzle makers in there, and also you have a crazy, mind that thinks of different things, and everybody thinks differently. And you're given a scenario, so I'm kind of sad that Evan's not here because Edwin is the puzzle maker. So, but
Johan and Klaudia will have to do.
yeah, I have
Yeah.
a really ugly picture that I drew of a cross section here with 4 different clocks, of various different types of clocks that are just like on different buildings, right? So this is like one of those scenarios that you see on the streets. And I'm going to ask you guys to make a puzzle out of this. I'm going to give you 2 minutes to do it. The clocks, some of them have like Roman numerals. This one has like just numbers. This is a moon-shaped clock right here. And then you have a Christmas tree clock with stars. This one is a square clock that's on a half-shaped
It looks like a
building.
grandfather clock.
Yeah. And this is like a regular churchy clock.
Hey guys, I just want to tell you, I have nothing to do with this. Okay, this is all Cece.
I
Like
think
throwing
then,
concept.
Brandon, you can also make a puzzle if you had no idea.
I gotta be in charge of clicking stuff behind the scenes. So.
Yeah, so like let your imaginations run wild and see what type of
Yeah.
puzzles you come out with.
We'll leave our screen up so that you can get you have 2 minutes from what I heard.
But we can talk about like the best, well not best, but like the stood out escape rooms that we had on the trips.
Oh
for people.
yeah.
So this way they know what to visit when they go to Arizona
Okay.
and New Mexico and stuff while they're thinking
I
about
mean, some stuck out to us. There was a good mixture of mom and pop shops and also big, large companies.
Yeah. So
that
in
we
New
visited.
Mexico, let's start from there. New Mexico is the escape
Yeah,
room.
New Mexico, we went to Bazaar in Santa Fe.
All right.
We played 2 of the games.
Yeah,
and,
they're more like quest relate. It's more like
On a
that
point
versus an
system.
escape room. Yeah.
Yeah, very cool, very unique. It's actually which we call it.
Everything is computerized, so
Yeah.
you don't really do. Even the game masters have such easy jobs; they don't even need to do anything.
Yeah, and then we went to Meow Wolf with the first one of 3, the original in Santa Fe.
Yes.
And already we were like, what is going on? We need a whole day here, maybe 2 days, because when you're there, you either can follow the story and get invested,
It's insane.
or you
Everyone
can
needs
look
to
at
go.
stuff and explore.
Yeah.
You really need to go multiple times.
If you want like a story driven, like they would love it.
Oh yeah, our
there
guests
is a
would definitely
story,
love visiting.
There
the
is like a whole trail to follow.
And just letting you know, there's one of three. They have the Santa Fe. The next one is in Vegas, and then the last one, or the newest one, is in Denver, and it just gets bigger and bigger and bigger.
Yeah. I'm just going to give out 2 shout outs because, their time is almost up.
Yeah.
So one is I love New Mexico Escape Rooms. They have a really nice set design.
Right.
It's
we play Bombshell there. Their Manor
warehouse.
game is insane.
Black Manor. Yeah.
Nemesis Club
in
Arizona.
Moscow is more like Disney quality escape rooms.
And we always love Vegas. Lost Games and Trapped. Love visiting them. First time visiting Penn IQ and Once Upon an Escape. Shout out to them.
If you like Disney themed escape rooms, very cute.
Yeah.
You might find a princess there while you're playing.
You might.
Yeah. No, you probably will. 100%.
And then in Utah, we visited Red Giant.
Red Giant has live actors in rooms.
Huge escape rooms.
Like warehouse sizes. Yeah. Pretty amazing.
And we couldn't even take on their newest one, Xenomorph, because it is
too big.
Too big and too difficult. We needed like
6.
We had 4 people. We needed like 8 people.
Yeah, for sure.
And then Denver had a lot of good ones. We visited Rabbit Hole finally, and then Time Emporium.
Very nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty good.
But overall, we had a blast visiting people and meeting new owners and playing with players that we'd never played before and familiar faces.
Yeah.
Shout out to Bluefish Games who joined us. Right.
Yes. And our fans.
And the fans, some followers and owners that got to play with us. But I think 2 minutes is up. They're coming up with a whole brand new game here.
Let's not go too crazy, okay? All right, who's up first?
Who's finished first? We'll let them start.
Okay, I'm gonna give it a try, but I think in the 3 of Wacky Wheels, I'm for sure the one who is like least able to make the puzzles. I'm good in testing, but I give it a try. First of all, I think the puzzle really has some potential. So if you're trying to find a job, maybe come join us. But
Johan, I could have drew this with my eyes closed. Are you kidding me?
Hey.
No. I will explain because I like it that, for example, there is like a symbol with 5 corners. There is one with 4 corners, one with 3, and one with 2, and one with 0. So the circle has 0 corners. Okay. So there is something to do with that, like combining the numbers. The moon has 2 corners. So I would definitely use kind of that, but I really need Edwin actually to make a puzzle out of this.
So he proposes the concept, then Edwin comes in and takes that and runs with it, and then Klaudia designs the hell out of it.
Yeah.
Unless Klaudia has something for us right now.
No, I haven't designed anything, but I have like ideas as well of what you can do with it regarding it.
Okay.
Because I think clocks are also kind of awesome because there are like numbers in it, and you can do a lot of things with numbers. So like what you said, that there are Roman numerals, there are Arabic numerals as well. So you can a lot of time take those and then incorporate them like with letters or with alphabets that you sort of write like an encryption kind of thing. And then you indicate whether or not which kind of numerals are supposed to be used. There can be, because all the clocks have like a different shape, so there can be even text indicating that when the moon first rises, then he sees the Christmas tree or something, and that would indicate sort of the order of it. But this is also how you would maybe see, I can't speak for Edwin, but then like if I were to design a puzzle, that would be like a little bit of the process behind it, and then the actual thing would come last, probably what you put in it, but more first the logic of how you're supposed to put it in an order, or what is the thought process that you're supposed to have while you see it and find it, or something like with what you have the moon and the Christmas tree, like pointing to actually find the clock first.
Mm-hmm.
So
wow.
Indicating that, and then that you use the numerals of it, so you can even combine things more into it.
Cease, you might be in the wrong business.
I hope that Ben designed something. I think he's the best one out of our three now in this.
Yeah,
No,
but
I liked it.
Let's
I want to
hear
play
Ben's
this clock
version.
game, and I want to go to these streets, the city intersection that has these 4 interesting clocks on it.
Yeah,
But
Well, I'm not finding that one.
it's Sissy City.
CCC.
I figured clocks have cogs, so I just threw this together real quick.
Wait, what?
Hey,
Wait, hold on.
wow.
No,
Okay.
this is a
Wait,
piece I had for another puzzle, and I'll just.
oh, okay. I was like, what's happening?
This is for Paris, where we actually use a clock in one of our games, and so
Nice.
I thought I'm gonna run and grab that. No, the idea I had, you have the different shapes of the clocks, so I went with that instead of the numbers themselves. Triangle, square, star, and moon. Putting the right thing in the right place is the basicest starting point for lots of puzzles. So I did imagine having loose wooden pieces. This is a scrap I had nearby. So one has a triangle on it, one has a moon on it, one has a star, and one has the other shape, the rectangle, the square. And they all have random holes cut in it as well. And then you have a map of the street itself. And when you put them on the right spot, the holes reveal a number. I don't know if this sketch looks like anything. But so here's like a city map with these random numbers. And when you put the square, which has holes in the right spot, it will reveal a number. And you have four numbers, padlock.
You're winning.
Yeah,
son.
so that's interesting. An overlay puzzle
Yes.
with the clocks.
See, everyone has like different thought process. That's what I love about like, you can utilize the same type of material, but come up with your own puzzles and thoughts and ideas, which is really cool.
And guys, they weren't talking about this behind the scenes in private chat or anything. This was all.
No, we had no idea this is
We
going
didn't
to
know.
happen.
Yeah.
That would be funny.
Except,
that's the-
I had time to laser cut this. But
You
other
did.
than that,
Yeah.
purely.
No, that
Saw
was
that.
in the
Saw
2
that.
minutes that you were preparing now.
I did hear some late, like,
Ran out of the screen and
Exactly.
2 minutes later, it's on. That's perfect. That's awesome.
Yeah, thank you for doing
So
that.
you have a laser cutter now.
We do. We make all of our own props.
That
The
is
laser cutter is my favorite toy. I make
Yeah.
props and I make useless stuff. But I like to pretend every time I make something silly, I'm learning how to do better stuff with it. So
soon you will have a 3D printer. That's the next step.
That's.
I have a 3D printer.
Okay.
Oh.
The speed at which the laser cutter makes stuff, it just wins for me. The 3D
Yeah.
printer is just too slow to iterate and be like, oh, that wasn't quite right. I'll try again for 3 hours.
Yeah.
Whereas the laser cutter, I'm like, oh, I'll just make a new piece.
I think we're gonna shop, Ben, at your place, because I think Klaudia created the dragon eggs, and we had to create the dragon egg for all the teams. So we had to create 20 dragon eggs. I think it has taken you like 4 non-stop days, right? Like
No, it took me a whole week.
a whole
But
week.
I didn't do it non-stop because the egg is made in a way that all the shells are glued by hand.
Wow.
So and then this is painted over and coated. So
When I saw it, I thought that looks beautiful and it looks like handmade and it looks like it took a long time. So really well done.
Yes,
Really cool.
yes, it did. Thank you. But then we, because that's also a beauty about puzzles. I think that's what when you create a puzzle and then you have it. Well, like how we test it. Like sometimes afterwards we think like, oh, you know what could be cool? Like what you Ben said, like with the overlay, right? That maybe sometimes in the beginning you don't think about it, but afterwards you add it, and that's what happened with the dragon egg. It was not originally in the game, but then we thought like, what would be cool if actually people find something and then that thing has like the dragon egg in it, and then there's something you need to do with the dragon egg. So yeah, we had to get the dragon eggs by hand, and every team actually could keep their egg.
Ooh,
That's a
wow.
nice centerpiece
Yeah,
too.
for sure.
There's nothing quite as annoying as being almost finished with something and then having an idea that you're just like, well, of course we have to make dragon eggs. We're not going to not
Yes.
have them.
Yes, that makes perfect sense. A month before the road trip.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. So I mean, it comes down to a question that I always wondered, because for these puzzle hunts, there's always changes in landmarks and things that you guys are constantly, trying to, because there's things you can't control, right? There's the weather, there's like the landmarks I was talking about, and just like other things that are just happening
Real estate.
during like the puzzle hunt process. So how do you guys think about those problems? Like, how do you resolve that? if there is a landmark change, let's say? Like, do you have to consistently go back to the locations and check on the items are there, or like things are in the clue if they're still there?
Well, for us, luckily, our games are not hundreds of kilometers apart, the puzzles. So, and we're people playing every day, so we tend to find out very quickly. So we don't go and check ourselves every single day. We chose the monuments we chose because they're there all the time. When we were first building our first game, we chose this tower, this beautiful 400-year-old church tower, and then one day scaffolding, and for the next 2 years it was covered and you couldn't see it. So we changed it. Later, for another game, we were using this beautiful sculpture they had of Rembrandt's Night Watch. So you have these 16 members of the Night Watch on Rembrandt Square, full of detail. You can count the rivets on their armor, how many coins are on the table. And then one day the city couldn't make an agreement with the artists for how much to pay to keep it there. And so they got rid of it. And so we find out very quickly from our players. They call us like, what statues? We say, the ones, they're huge, they're everywhere. No, they're not. And then we quickly build, after that, we'll always put in a quick alternate puzzle to stand in while we develop something more permanent as a replacement. But fortunately, the vast majority of our guests, that's why I love what we do, they are in a good mood. They're on holiday, they are having time off, they're playing a game. So they're with the mindset of fun, and they tend to be flexible and easygoing and understanding when it's like, well, yeah, the city's 400 years old, but this bridge, they decided to get rid of it for 2 weeks, so you have to find your own way around it. So the answer is, what do we do about it? We roll with the punches. There's not much we can do to anticipate it, and fortunately, our guests are really understanding.
Oh,
right.
that's
But you also
great.
have a backup plan, or a backup puzzle to fill in.
Yeah.
But we make it real quick.
Yeah.
Just like you challenge us
Just
with the clock puzzle.
before when you yeah.
Actually, with the statues that went missing, we used a clock for the replacement puzzle at one point, the temporary one.
He already stole your
all
idea.
about the clocks.
Yeah, clocks are good.
Yeah. What about you guys?
Yeah,
I
we
think-
have a bit the same. Oh,
Yeah, go ahead.
yeah, we have a bit the same, that we choose like really big landmarks or things that are most likely to stay there. Also because we can't really revisit them every now and then. And then with us, we even have to roll, I think, more as we go, because we are like in the car as well, and we know that the participants are there. And then if something is not there, we also very quickly find out. And we actually had a similar situation like that in the Dragon Trail road trip, where I think I have it somewhere, where there's a puzzle that you need to go on a specific street and like find specific places or like buildings and do something with it. And then one thing was missing. That is the thing that you recognize the building from in. But the participants were like also lovely that they involved like people living there, and all the people living there were looking for that thing. And then the people living there told them that actually, I think like a week before the road trip, there was a film crew there. And that's why one piece was removed, which was the piece that we used for you to recognize the building. But we were getting like pictures from teams saying, but we see like the discoloration here, so it must have been this one. Is it this or so on? And yeah, so afterwards we of course went to recheck it, but we also roll as we go. So I think with this puzzle, we just said to everybody, okay, no matter what you submit for that one particular building, everybody will like not get points for it because you can't actually like find it.
Luckily, with a competitive game, if they remove a monument, it's gone for everyone, so it's still balanced.
Yeah, that's true. And we also had with the scaffolding thing as well, that there was something that you're supposed to find on the building, and the whole building was covered. And that was also like pretty awesome, because like most of the team involved, like it's a very famous place where you can go inside and buy tickets, but they involved like the security guard there, and something they were like, okay, can you describe us what's on there and so on. And then I think the lady at the ticket place was like, okay, but what are you doing? Like, can you tell me afterwards what the solution was? And then the teams, because they're competitive, would say like, yeah, but if you see other teams, don't tell them, don't give them any hints. So I think at the end of the day that also at least for the road trip part, that creates also like a funny experience and like those small highlight moments as well from the road trip.
Yeah. I mean, that was actually going to be my, final question to you guys in terms of a most memorable moment or funny story that you have from any of your participants. Anything that you remember, like, I don't know, oh my God, that one person.
Yeah, well, actually 2 persons or 2 teams. It was quite funny because we had the whole road trip and we thought it was, I mean, the puzzles are challenging, but in a way we make sure that in the end the people know where to go and they do the road trip. But then one team, or actually 2 teams, they found a clue which wasn't a clue, but they thought it was a clue. And they ended up somewhere on a ferry, like 3 hours driving.
Oh my God.
And they took the actual ferry to the other side of the river, and then to find out that there was no way, because they were in a big city and they didn't have a clue, but just go to that big city. So then they found out, okay, if there is no other clue than being in the big city, what can we do here? So they took the ferry back right away, and then they arrived really late for the barbecue. And then, well, we had good stories in the end, and all the teams were laughing big time.
Oh, at least they didn't miss the barbecue.
Yeah.
That would have been so sad.
Yeah, but they did miss or quite some puzzles on the way because of that detour. But even with that one, I think that the teams were like 2 and 3 people, and then some of the people in the teams were like, no, we like, why do we go there? Like, there's nothing there. But then on the ferry, one of the team met the other teams, so they like got the reassurance, like, yeah, of course, another team is going there, so we're on the right track as well.
They had the same idea.
Yeah, exactly. So we're like, yeah, we must go there. But then for next year, I think we put additionally in capital letters, like on your scoreboard, on the question, like, what is that location? Because it is a question about that location. And we put like, do not visit this location to prevent that from happening.
Or add value. Take the ferry. Make it part of the game.
Yeah, enjoy your day.
Sounds awesome.
I was thinking the ferry ride must be really nice.
Yeah, they're like, wow,
Yeah.
this is so interactive.
Discover
they actually have
nature.
us on the ferry going
Yeah.
to another city. Like, this is
I took
crazy.
a ferry twice. What an awesome game. I took the ferry there and back.
Yeah. So Ben, do you
Ben, you got a story
to
for us?
share?
So the 2 proposals were both really nice. But the one that I think of now, and it's always really nice when what we do connects with people, because we like telling stories and real stories. When we had just launched our second game, which is in Amsterdam, which is about World War II and the resistance. And we were really sensitive because it's an important story that we're making a game out of, but we don't want to make light of. And we think it's important stories to tell. One of our first group to play was an American family, 2 parents and 2 young children. And we thought, I mean, we don't make these with young children. We don't make them for young children, but they are always welcome. And they came back afterwards and they really enjoyed it. And they said, thank you for this opportunity, this way for us to discuss this with our kids, because it is a difficult part of history. And that's always nice. And also today we get messages from people like Kate, who wrote a comment earlier. I'm like, someone connects with one of our games. That's what it's all about.
Yeah. That's always really nice to hear.
Thank you, Kate.
So, I mean, I know you guys already spoke about the new things that's happening, but just in case I missed anything else that's in the upcoming future, other than subscriptions in the works, or perhaps.
Well, I don't know if I dare to say it because we still have to create it, but we have 2 road trips, and we are at least thinking of a 3rd one. But we are not going to promise anything because we have to create it from scratch, which is quite a lot.
We can promise, and then Edwin needs to start.
Just say that Edwin.
Promise
Yeah, Edwin promised.
Yeah.
Yeah, I see his notes here.
Yeah, no, that we definitely like to do that because we get the most energy of creating new things more than repeating existing ones. So in the end, we will get there. But I think our focus right now is to get the subscription really going. So that means that we have to create already a new game every 3 months. So I think that's our primarily focus right now.
Yeah.
Okay.
What about Ben? Other than Paris, where are we going next?
So we have this long list of cities that we're going to, and really looking forward to it. Berlin, Lisbon, a town near Lisbon called Sintra is high on the list as well. But really pick a city and we want to be there. But the Paris project's been going quick enough that I managed to get a week off to work on a little dream project I've had for a while. We were talking before about a food and puzzle game.
Yes.
But I'm working on it's a drink and puzzle game. I call it a puzz crawl. And so
Nice.
So we're actually taking to try it out, to build it quickly, taking the story of our red light game and making it a adventure through the red light district, going to bars and solving puzzles as you go. A bit like Puzzled Pint, but on the move. And
do you feel like people solve things better when they're drunk?
They're more creative.
Yeah, I thought about maybe at the beginning you choose your difficulty level by how many drinks you have before you start.
Oh, that's awesome.
Fill it in,
And it raises as you go.
Exactly, yeah.
That's great.
I want super difficult. Give me a keg.
When we're testing, I'll probably be like, oh, I made this really cool puzzle, but I have to tone it down because everyone's wrecked by the end of it. You can also drink water or soda on this adventure.
Oh, okay.
It doesn't have to be alcohol.
There's alternatives.
Yeah. Or like just coffee all the way
Sparkling
through.
water on the rocks with lime.
Energy. Yeah, for sure. Anyway, that's great. Of course, thank you for you guys for joining our show.
Yeah.
If we're in the Netherlands next time, we'll definitely.
We were supposed to be there before
2 years ago.
2020.
We're still now it's like pending on if we're gonna go.
Was that like your plan as well to visit the Netherlands?
We had a whole trip booked. It was booked.
I was during the COVID time that we had to cancel it.
Yeah,
But,
Belgium, Netherlands, Amsterdam.
Next time. Next time we'll definitely want to come and check out your outdoor adventures. That sounds a lot of fun for sure.
Let us know which cities you're visiting. I'll make sure we have games in each city.
Oh,
You have one. We're going to Barcelona.
Oh, nice. We have one, yeah. We're going to be launching a second game in Barcelona soon as well. So.
Ooh. Okay. Yeah, but definitely.
And then on the way we go from like city to city playing Ben's games, you can do our road trip.
Exactly. We should do a combination.
Yeah.
Yes, just keep going.
You know what? Let's.
I'm not sure if you're sold after just doing a whole road trip, but then maybe you need some time to
just sell our place and never come back.
Yeah, I'm gonna challenge Septis 70 days on worldwide.
What was her name? You said Bly, Nellie Bly. We'll beat her.
Yeah.
Amount of time around the world.
75 days. Pshaw.
Yeah.
70 days.
Nice. But anyways, so before we end our show, of course, we'll be drawing our 2 lucky winners of the raffle. And of course, if you guys don't know how to enter, remember to go to our Instagram page and you can read the rules there. So these were drawn randomly from the people who have entered on there. Our first winner for the first episode of Wacky Wheels new subscription game, The Mysterious Case of Dancing Mania, is...
Are we ready?
Yeah.
Let's do it. Drum roll, please.
Drum roll. DC Girl 724. Congrats.
DC Girl. Well, DC _girl 724. Gotta be exact.
Yay.
We don't want DC Girl 724 coming to claim it, right?
Oh gosh. Our next one that we have, and the winner for the digital game of their choice from Mystery City Games is Deborah C. Pon's game. Hang on.
What? Oh, okay.
It's gonna be so hard to say.
I'm gonna attempt this one. Divers I Ponds Gaming OH.
I don't know. Maybe from Ohio.
Oh, it could be Ohio.
Gaming.
And they're a diver.
Yes.
And they love gaming.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see it.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Congrats. And special thanks to our episode sponsor, True Clue. True Clue Print is a print-at-home game drawn inspiration from puzzle hunts and escape rooms. That's why they're very fitting for this episode.
Totally.
By solving a series of puzzles, the players unveil unique stories that they can take anywhere from ancient Greece, the Second World War, Europe.
Yeah, you haven't tried True Clue, definitely check them out.
Yeah, they're really cool. And also, if you're interested in becoming BTM episode sponsor, please email us at info@escapetherooMers.com. And also, for our next episode, we'll have 2 guests, one from California and one from Greece.
Ooh.
If you're a fan of escape rooms, you must have heard of them before because they both won a lot of awards. One is Paradox Project, and the other one is Palace Games in California, but Paradox Project's in Greece. Paradox Project has 3-hour games that currently, and they're working on their 4th one.
Yep. And
Palace Games have games ranging from 100 minutes to 2 hours. So I don't know how they're able to create these massive projects. And we're going to probably have to find out then on our next episode.
On our next episode.
Which is September 16th. And you have to tune in at 4 p.m. Thanks everyone for joining us on another excellent episode.
Don't forget to like and subscribe, and we'll see you soon in 2 weeks.
Yeah, have a good weekend.
Bye.
Thanks for having us.
Bye.
Bye bye.